Good afternoon. So we have an interesting statement, Dr. Petermann, that I wanted to ask you about. I've read about. It says, the question nobody asks when doing memory improvement research. What do you think about that? What is that question?
I'm not sure what it is, but I can tell you there are some things that are almost never discussed, and that is that many people in the science community think that once memory is gone, it's gone. I don't believe that, because let me relate a story to you. A few years ago, I was talking to a friend of mine in a big box store, gone to buy something. And I just received a call from my daughter who was studying in China, studying fashion design, and won an opportunity with the school she was in out of New York to go to Hong Kong and study. And I was very proud of her. And I saw this older gentleman who at that time was pushing 80 years old, just a wonderful individual. His wife had been my son's second grade teacher. And I'd known this man many, many, many years. And we got to talking, and he said, "How's your family?" And I said, "My daughter's in China. She's become a world traveler." And he said, "Well, I used to be a world traveler." And I'm thinking, what did he go to, Dallas? You know, I mean, this guy had been a little quiet carpenter for the last 40 to 50 years in the little town where we lived. And I'm thinking, world traveler? I mean, he could have said anything but that. I was so struck with, my gosh, are you serious? And he said, yes. He says, you're not going to believe what I did when I was about 19 years old. And I did this for 3 years. It was back in the late 50s. I said, what did you do? And he says, I was with some missionaries with the headhunters in New Guinea. I said, really? I'm thinking, what'd you do? Take your hammer with you to protect yourself? He said, I love those people. They were so cool. And I said, so you were there with, now you're Lutheran, so obviously you were there with Pastor Simp. He looks at me like, I got 3 heads. He says, how do you know that? I said, that's my uncle. And here's the thing. I had not said Pastor Simp's name since about 1962 when I was about 12 years old. So the last recollection I had of this man, had never even thought about it until his family moved back to the United States, and I met his daughter, who was my same age, and we were visiting at another uncle's house. And here was Pastor Simp and his family. That's the last discussion, that's the last time I ever thought of this individual. Now my question is, how in the world did I remember somebody who had absolutely no effect on my life? None whatsoever. That's the only time I ever met the man. It was weird. And I'm taken back by my own memory. Now, I can tell you that probably 15 or 20 years ago, I would not have been able to recall that incident, because I have been working for the last 16 years with anti-aging and restoration of mitochondrial DNA, mitochondria, in the human body. Well, I got news for you. Mitochondria also is very, very active in the brain. Let me give you an example. Mitochondria is the power plant of every living cell. There's many, many mitochondria, individual mitochondria, that are in every living cell that extract energy from food we eat. Now, for example, you have mitochondria in every living cell, so that means there's about 500 in the skin on your big toe. Not much happening there. However, when you look at a neuron in the brain, you're going to find an average of 10,000 mitochondria. Now these guys are little bitty things. But they're sitting there working their hearts out, extracting energy, because 20% of everything that the body uses as far as energy is used in the brain. Yet the brain is only about 5% of the weight of the human body. It's an intense power plant that's consuming a lot of energy, so it needs a lot of mitochondria. Well, as we age, we lose productive mitochondria. Okay, let's say you lose 10% of your mitochondria. We're talking about the whole body. Remember, it's in every living cell. So now you're down to 450 mitochondria instead of 500 in your big toe, in the skin on your big toe for one cell. What just happened to the brain? You've lost 10% of the mitochondria, 10% of the energy production that you desperately need in the brain. So you wonder where your car keys are, or where you parked your car in the parking lot. It really comes down to diminished capability. Now, I've worked very, very hard for the last 16 years restoring the mitochondria, because you can restore mitochondria. It's pretty much the genie is out of the bottle on that capability. So if you really want to improve your memory, you improve the health of the mitochondria. And we've talked about that at length.
Absolutely.
What do you do for the health of your body? That's what you do. Well, what could be better than the health of your brain that controls everything? Because the brain, people say, oh, that person is a hypochondriac. They just get, it's all in their head. They're not sick. Well, I'll tell you something. There are a lot of hypochondriacs that are deathly ill because they have convinced themselves they're ill. So the brain reacts by producing various hormones and various materials that actually put the body under stress. So a person can actually feel bad. So that's what we do to ourselves. We ruin our mitochondria with our thoughts. So one of the things that I tried to do, not only am I trying to improve the condition of the mitochondria in my system for my overall health and longevity and quality of life, but it's also for the quality of my mental capacity and capabilities. And I think by what I've been able to accomplish in the last 30 years of advanced degrees, of patents worldwide, wireless, artificial intelligence, etc., that I have given my brain what it needs to do the things that it needs to do. So I'm telling you that there is so much that you can do with the proper nutrition and the proper nutrients. We're going to talk about supplements at another time. So keep hitting the subscribe button. And until next time, this is Jerry.
And David.
And we look forward to having a lot of discussions so that you're able to glean information that you're able to use. It's important. And until next time, be well.
Be well.